And guess where we are? I'm just going to show you around really quickly. Look at that. Miklosh, Veronica, thank you so much for welcoming us here. You know, it's really
Our pleasure.
really great to be here. You know, it's amazing what you've done to the house so far, which we'll show everyone after this as well. So, yeah, from Peter and myself, we're really thrilled to be here, and thrilled to see how much you've achieved in a short space of time. So, yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, thank you for coming, guys. Thanks.
It was an absolute pleasure. And even when we came, I was really surprised. I knew it's a big VIGH, it's a big house, and it's a lot of 5 or 6 six
flats.
Yeah, 6 flats. But I was really surprised how big it is actually, and also because maybe it's my fault, I've never heard about the location before, at least not so much, but it's a beautiful area as well, and it's only a couple of minutes walk from the beach, so it's a perfect for service accommodation. So we are really proud of you, absolutely, guys. and thanks for welcoming us.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. It's really
it's a really big help for you guys to coming and check over everything. What we're doing is doing well.
Of course,
you're doing well. Yeah.
Refer back to the building, as everybody say, it's a huge one.
Yeah.
But
it is a huge
everyone
one.
who comes.
I was really surprised. Not just it's when it comes your job. Actually, you did not just source the property, negotiated the deal, which is already it's a huge thing, especially the first deal. When it comes to the first deal, most of the people, 95%, a lot of people don't know the statistic, the exact numbers. Most of the people who attempt to actually achieve this financial freedom or getting the deal, most of the people fail, and not because you cannot do it, because of they don't want it enough. Because you need passion, you need enthusiasm.
Desire is the word I'm looking for.
The burning desire, exactly. You need the burning desire, and you need to know, you need to understand where you go. And I remember at the first month, maybe, when we started work together, I remember a couple of times you mentioned the agent said no, or what else we could say. We had a couple of practice, which you were really good. I remember. Miklosh, honestly, I was a really bad agent on that one.
Definitely you were.
I played, honestly, I picked on everything, and I really tried to get you, but you very nicely you get away, and I ordered you, and not just because of that, but I also because of the question. Every session when we had the questions, guys, you bring, we see the consistency as the steps going up. First, your website and your pages and your marketing message and your SEO, and then your pitch to the agents and the location you want to target, your business plan. How great was the business plan?
I've got a financial background, so I've done lots of planning in my life, but I was very impressed with your planning. It's amazing, the detail you guys went into. But the thing is, these are the sort of things what it takes. Yeah. People just go, well, I want to do property, so I'm going to go and attack all the agents and talk about it. But why are you doing this is so important. What is this actually? Why are you doing this, and where do you want to get to? And I think you had a very well planned out. This is what I want to do now. This is what I do in 6 months, 1 year. So I think that's helped you guys to where you are now.
Yeah, it's always need a plan. Otherwise, we just lost. We're feeling also, as you said before, when we're starting the refurbishment, just focusing one thing, and we're trying, but sometimes we lost, and then we realize it's just getting so much harder if you're not focusing on one flat. Or
absolutely.
And if you make a plan, you're just following the plan, and it's much easier than just jumping.
Exactly. People don't really realize how important it is. Most of the time, they don't realize. They don't know what they don't realize. Planning everything.
Yes.
The burning desire. That's how it starts. And the difference you want to make in your life. That's number 2. So why you do it, the reason, and then you can actually start to list your goals. And once you've done this, then you can actually put the plan. You can put the plan, the very detailed, more detailed, the business plan. You can cover. We always recommend cover 5 years, where you wanna be after the 5 years, and come back. And slowly come back years. And when you are in 1 year, then break it down for a quarter of years. So every 3 months, and then break it down every month, and then the weeks, and you can actually start to plan your days in advance. And all you're gonna go is just hit your goals and just on direction. And don't listen to anybody else. Don't listen and don't bother about failures. Don't bother about agents, what they're gonna say, what they're gonna think. We don't care what they're gonna think. Whoever wanna work with you, because you are offering a lot of benefits because of your service. It's a good example. So the type of service you provided to this landlord, this particular landlord, or the agents as well, amazing. You literally change the whole property. You actually not just doing the sourcing and the service accommodation part of the business, but you also pretty much managing a huge refurb work, even doing some of the work yourself as well, because obviously it's a huge investment for you guys. You both have jobs. They just normal jobs.
Both full time.
Both full time, and this is what we're talking about here. You have a full time jobs, and you had some safety, some have saved funds, and you didn't think it once. You actually invested in yourself, in your dreams, in your goals, whether it's working with us, or whether it's learning more, or whether it's putting and doing this amazing work here. It's a lot of time and a lot of money as well. It's a huge investment here we're talking about, and a huge benefit you gave to this landlord and the agent as well. Was it from agent?
It was from an agent, yeah.
Via agent.
For them it's really like a totally hassle-free. We signed the paper since that they just got the money and not even a phone call. Everybody happy. The agent got the 10%, the landlord.
That's exactly it's all about. And people don't understand, because of these benefits you're offering to these agents and landlords. That's one thing. But explaining to them in the right way, that's another thing. That's what we call sales. How you sell your service, how you say it. Because if you start to blah 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 over the phone, and I do this and I do that, without the consistent pitch, including everything slowly step, how we talk to agents, like we did a practice and exercise, also using, since we're working together, using our brand, as well you leverage our portfolio, our brand, because that's other thing. So that's how you can present everything to these landlords. A lot of people don't understand, and because of they try to call 1, 2, 3 agents, they just give up. But because we heard no.
Can we just rewind a little? I think we've gone too far ahead. Let's do a little intro as well.
Okay.
Good flow of conversation, though, so it's good. But I just want to take it back.
That's good. That's okay.
So can I just take it back a little? So we know of you guys a lot, which is great, because obviously we worked with you for the last few months. But I don't think anybody else or everybody else really do know who Veronica and who Miklosh are. So could you just introduce yourself a little bit? Just tell us about where you've come from, what made you even decide that property is the thing for you guys, and what's the little journey for you, just so we can... So
I'm Miklosh, I'm from Hungary. First time I came to UK in 2010, but actually to Scotland. And back home I was learning like CNC operator as a profession, but to be honest I'm not even working it in a minute. And since when I was 16, I always tried to find some way to how to get out. I always knew I don't want to work for someone else, but at the first point I need it.
Yeah,
it's normal. So first I started like trading courses and find a way what could be my way. And the property also, I was thinking, I read lots of books about it. And then I came to UK, I started work to have some capital to invest. Then I started to trading. It was okay, but then later realized if I want to play with the field with the big sharks, I need more capital, so go back to work again. And by that time we moved back home and we did flipping houses back home.
So you had some property experience?
Yeah, back home, but not in England. So England was a totally new field for me in the property, especially different legislation and regulations. And I don't know nobody, for example, builder, the key point.
Yes, power team is important for sure.
Yeah. And then finally I met Veronica and we just started our our property companies because we had the same opinion. We don't want to work for someone else for the rest of the life. And she wants traveling, I want traveling also, and making a normal free life. Not too much, but the normal.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely get it.
I don't want to be like a very, very big company, but a very good life.
Has that changed now, by the way? Are you feeling a bit more hungry? Like, do you want a little bit more, perhaps? Because sometimes it happens with people, they start going, oh, I don't want to be too big. And they get to a point...
We are so busy at the moment.
Yeah.
I think in my mind, I still good of it. Of course, getting more hungry, but I'm still feeling, I'm not old, but I feel I'm getting older a little bit. And I feel now if I work smarter, it's much better than I work my butt off and for the less amount of money. And it's just surprising me. Okay, I was sitting at home and we got during 5 days 4K booking, and for that £4,000 I need to work a lot if I just changing my time for someone else. So it's a very big difference, and I knew it in my hand. This is how God, but it's totally different when you feel it in your real life. It's happening.
When you see the bank account showing the... Yes, it's a very different feeling, that one, isn't it?
And
it's the proof that it works.
Why I got it? I didn't work that much. But actually, yes, because of the big... Doing the job here once, set it up everything properly, and so far it's kind of hassle-free. We haven't got any phone calls from the guests. Veronica did a very great job about the background. I mean, everything in a book, in a guest book, and we have a very nice cleaner also, Angela, so she's local. If any emergency situation happening, they can call her up.
Great.
So I think that's it about me. I'm working still at the moment on Amazon, but of course I want to read off as much as possible and slowly. Since we start this project, I'm just working 2-3 days because actually I need. Even my manager said, focus this business. It's much more worth it.
Oh, very good. That's very unusual when your boss says that, actually. So it's great.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, but it's hard for me. I know there's a big shortage of drivers, and I don't want to let them down. But I just really need to set apart. This is my life. No one else gonna care if I not care my life. So need to focus our things.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it's wise to keep the job until the business is really strong enough to stand on its own legs and support you both as well. Because I think that's one thing. Sometimes people do that a little bit too soon. Let that go, based on their dreams. And I think it's better when you see those pounds rolling into the bank account on a regular basis, or at least you have that really definite plan where you see that that's going to happen. Maybe not today, not tomorrow, but in 2 or 3 months' time, it's going to happen. So I think it's a wise move. 2-3 days is still good. The money's still coming in, but thankfully this unit is also making money now. So
exactly. But we want to keep as much money in the business just to reinvest and
build up
our capital, and after we can do bigger project.
Absolutely. I think it's crucial, just like Istvan mentioned, keeping the job for a while, not because you want to exchange your time with someone, working for someone, but also just only until your business is really growing up and you really made sure you had enough income, secure income, before you actually leave the job. Because obviously one of the main things we actually always telling as well, we told you and we're telling others as well, obviously your dream is very important and following, and the first step, getting your first deal, it's also important. Obviously we didn't expect this. It's so big deal for a first one. We always very optimistic with anybody who coming and working with us, but this one is absolutely took us as a surprise as well, because honestly this is absolutely amazing. And at the first deal, getting a six unit in the same block, which is all crucial, and in location like this, perfect for holiday, perfect even for corporates as well. So it's a huge step, but obviously until you made sure everything is started and it's kicking off, you keep your job very, very clever and smart way, let's say, but you already knew your way out, because it's always the step one. You need to see your way out, and you need to follow the plan through, and when you're there, you're actually just out. It's not just like, okay, today I call my boss and I quit, but I have nothing. You know, I have nothing. I don't have business. I don't have anything. Just my dreams. It doesn't work like that. That's why desire and goals are very important, but the plan, it's also very important, and the execution part as well is very important. And just one thing on you guys mentioned, obviously it still takes so much time. We're working hard on this project, which is great, but believe me and believe ISTVAN, the next phase just coming, which is the second phase, when you actually start to learn how to outsource those work. So how to make more money and doing less work. That's going to be the next bit. But I don't want to go ahead too far.
Yeah. Let's walk first before we run. I always say to people, and I think that's one of those. You know, you're learning to walk at the moment, and I think you're doing a fantastic job of it. Those little legs going one after the other, really nice and nice and smooth. So I think it's a very important thing. But you know, that's how we start, right? You know, we can't expect a 1-year-old baby to start, competing with Usain Bolt. You know, we want them to sort of walk first. So that's the same with the business. You're starting something completely new, and I think I always say this: it's not just the business that you need to build up, but also it's a mindset shift that you need to go through. And I think that is sometimes more difficult than actually invest in something and start something new. It's the mindset shift of, okay, now if I don't do this, or if I don't do it this way, and then it ain't gonna happen. If you're in a job, if you don't turn up to work, there might be another person who just does that job for you, right? Or if you want to change to a new job, again, it's the same thing. But in your own business, that's a completely different thing. You have to be the one giving out the orders. You have to be the one knowing what's going to happen next. There's no script, that's really written down for you. There's no job description sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And that's the tricky bit for a lot of people. It's a huge challenge. Because a lot of us, including myself, I've had jobs all my life. And of course you turn up to a job and, you get a job description and you get told by your boss or asked by your boss, depending on what type of boss you have, you better, what you need to do on a day or this week or next month. But when you have your own business, you dictate those things, which is great, but it's also can be quite scary.
Yeah. It's a big challenge for us because now we have people who are working for us.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's quite tricky.
Quite tricky because I think we are not enough strict what we expected, and after it is hard to deal with them because of course if they not get a list what need to be done, then they can complain why he not did that, because in our mind it's my mind it's okay or obvious, and I think he knows it also, but no, need to tell everything, every little detail part.
And that's a learning curve that unfortunately people, including yourselves, you have to go through. I could sit here and tell you how to do these things, but until you do it yourself and you realize that that's how people actually deal with certain scenarios, you realize as you go through, it's like, okay, well, I didn't do this right. And that's again part of being an entrepreneur and a business owner. We go through it on a daily basis. And again, another thing that people don't realize is it's always me who's responsible for those things. I can't blame it on the builder. I can't blame it on the cleaner. It's me who didn't tell them properly. But a lot of people actually have the opposite way of dealing with this. They go, well, why didn't that person do it the way I expected them to? It's because no one's a mind reader. They don't know your standards. So if you don't explain to them really, really clear, and the communication comes in very important here, then they will not know. So then you have this, headlocks.
There was a big problem at the beginning.
And deadlines.
Yeah, but also. I think we are getting better now.
We feel it at end of the day always. Okay, actually we did this, that, we learned this one. Okay, we already knew these things. So during the day, just nothing is ready. You need to learn. But yeah, if we sum up, for example, a day or a week, it's always like we had to learn this, and we not even realize that time when we're learning. Just after that.
Do you find that you growing a bit of a thicker skin?
Absolutely, yes.
It's hard. by myself, especially for Veronica because she's too kind. But that's normal. But even for me also, it's like if you need to be really strict and you can't smile or kind because that's not an appropriate time for that.
You can still be strict and kind.
Yeah,
you'll find that. I think you'll find your own way of doing both.
That's the professional way. But I'm learning. Sometimes it's too much, sometimes it's too less.
Yeah, and
just fine.
Let's face it, you'll always have to flex your style as well because not everyone will react to being told off.
Yeah.
Not everyone will react well to being very friendly. Sometimes they think, oh well, we're too friendly, so I don't need to make sure that I deliver. So your style will need to be flexed as well, and that's one of those things that again it will come with experience. As you go through, you come across hundreds of different people, and you'll be dealing with them as business owners. And it's a very different interaction. But it's great to see that you are thinking about it already. I think that's the most important thing.
During the phone, I guess we are better also because had lots of problem with delivery. And for example,
those Amazon drivers, right?
No, that's what most of the time. No, Amazon was all good. Yeah, that is. Always. But by the way, we always started to use the third person. For example, Veronica starting the speaking or the first contact with them, and after if you just is seeing something for 3 times and it's 2 week delay, and then she just passed the phone and I start speaking. Okay, I'm the owner of the Linkbay Properties. We must solve this problem very urgently, and it's like then it's something happening, and we are still polite, but it's very strict.
A bit more firm.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to use that, by the way, the good cop, bad cop. It's amazing how well it works.
It works. We are surprised sometimes.
It really works. It really works. And sometimes it is, because some people don't react very well to speaking to, a nice, kind woman's voice. But when the boss picks up the phone with a nice, deep voice, go, "Ooh, okay." Yeah. And it doesn't actually mean that he's the boss, but it's just a change of personnel can make a difference. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, she's the boss.
Playing these games,
not even questioning that.
Playing these games in life, it's absolutely crucial. Absolutely crucial.
Well, thank you for your introduction, Miklosh. So, can we have a little bit from you as well?
Of course. So, originally, I'm from the Czech Republic. And I've been here in England for over 2 years or so. It's not too long. Yeah. And I just after university I realized I need some adventure and I wanted to travel a little bit. So I went to England and I met Miklosh after. And it's
the opposite, isn't it?
Miklosh was hit by a heart.
And he kind of changed my mindset because till then I was working for someone else. Yeah. And I didn't really think about it that I can have my own business and work hard for myself and make more money. So it was a big change, and because originally I'm a music teacher. I teach the kids in a primary school, so it's a completely different world.
Quite different from doing property dealings and speaking with agents.
Yes, agents and investors. And it's a completely different world, but I'm really happy I'm here because now, for example, I can teach for free, for fun, some kids, and that can be a hobby.
Yes.
But it's lots of freedom in business. Of course, lots of hard work as well, but if you set it up in a correct way at the beginning, you can just enjoy your life.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole idea, really, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's the major difference between actually working for someone versus working for yourself. That is, there's always more work right at the start than you anticipate when you're working for yourself. But I think the whole reasoning and whole idea behind it really is it's an investment of your time and effort at the front. So it's very front-loaded is what I like to call it. But then you should, if you do it right, with the right help and the right people around you, if you do it right, you should be able to sort of step back eventually. And I think that's the thing that most people can never do if they remain in a job, right? Because that's a constant. You exchange time for money. Here you invest your time and your money in exchange for an easier and better life later.
It's true. But it's so funny because before I met Miklosh, my mindset was completely different.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really imagine that I could have my own business. And now
Is that
so
because
easy.
of how you were brought up? Was that family?
I think, yeah. Because in our family, it's the education was important, and to get a good job for me in the school, and that's it actually.
That's quite normal, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think lots of people just growing
absolutely
like that, and then it's really surprising the change.
Because we are building up for the 9-to-5 system. All the school is make you for that kind of job or that kind of lifestyle, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, it's the society needs workers.
Yeah.
Need people who do the job. But it doesn't mean that we all have to do that, right? But it takes a huge courage and determination and persistence and a lot of hard work to actually go, well, I don't want to do that. I actually want to do something different, and I want to risk a lot of it, because that's another thing that people overlook, is there is a lot of risk in actually starting your own business, because there's no guarantees, right?
No, not really. Even if you do everything in a safety manner, it's just the risk is always gonna be there, and that's why not everybody doing it. That's one of the big reasons not everybody doing it.
Do you find that scary though? Do you find the risk scary, or does it inspire you? Because I think that's a thing that it's a strange feeling, because I think the two feelings are very close to one another. Yeah. How do you find that?
To be honest, the risk, not really. I just was worried about the guests. They find everything, they feel happy, and this kind of things. And the jacuzzi. but after the jacuzzi, we had both of us 2 days nightmare, like we couldn't sleep. Everything we were doing well, but maybe you can cut off this.
No, we don't. No, we don't. It's absolutely. This is crucial part when we talk about all the success and all the benefits, because obviously you can see already the amount of money can come even just from one apartment. Imagine if it's coming from 5, 6, 10, 20, 50, 100, whatever your goal is. So how much independence it can give you and how much benefit. But also, it's also good to mention, but also the risk, like ISTVAN mentioned before, it's there, it's always there, but it can be almost fully eliminated as long as you have that right plan and as long as you follow it. And it's very important. It was important for us. It's important for you guys, and we're gonna cover this later. Working with people who helping you, just like we've been working with people. They helped us when we were at the beginning. It's a completely different from what you read in a book or what you learn from the course, especially at the beginning, because it's easier to fail is always the beginning, always at the start. I'm not saying after you're growing, you can't. You always can. Things can always go wrong. But more bigger you are, and more income you have, and more freedom you have, more stronger you are financially, it's really hardest to screw up things. Let's say, or even if something bad happens, you have enough income, maybe other streams as well coming to cover yourself for a hard time. But if you fail at the beginning, that's always harder. That's why it's so important to do the right plan and then do the right steps at the beginning.
That's why we look for someone like you guys at the beginning, because even I had lots of courses, like 3-4 in England and another 5 in Hungary, I guess. But okay, now this is the time I'm enough wise to start now properly. But now I still need not just a course, someone who I start the route and then leading through for that route as a backup, and we couldn't have a better choice.
Okay, so you guys, I think we could also easily say that we're very, very impressed by this deal that you've got. So it's one deal, but it's also 6 deals, and I think it's fair to say.
I am sorry, I am very disappointed. It's only 6, not 12.
Peter likes to raise the bar fairly high.
Yes. I always like to raise the bar and be very optimistic, but these guys absolutely smashed even my biggest expectation. I think I can talk.
Oh, absolutely. Totally, absolutely. But look, it's super exciting, to start with something like this. But it's also very daunting. So I'm not going to lie to you when you said to us that you're gonna have 6 units in the house. I said to Peter, I was like, well, I'm not sure this is a good idea for the first one.
Actually, I said the same to Miklosh, that I was so scary at the beginning, and it was a big decision actually.
Yeah.
But it is because we felt like this. It also was an advantage because we were quite brave to negotiate, because anyway it's 1 hour away from Bournemouth when we're leaving, so it wasn't the best deal option. But we start negotiate, and we finally got the accept. We thought it is 8-month rent-free period. They won't want to accept, and then yes, okay, so let's get a viewing again, and it looks now better. Okay, now we can see more pictures.
So let's talk about this in a bit more detail, because I think I love the deal, to be honest. First of all, let's say, so 6 units. I was really scared for you, because I thought, this is a bit of a big bite to chew off for the first one. Okay, so let's establish that. I think we can all agree on that one. Yes. That was a big bite. But I thought, okay, that's good start. But then we have started talking about, the potential for some rent-free period, which you guys very cleverly put on the table. So, and then also you've also established a very long rent period to give you plenty of time to actually regain your money. So talk me through that. So what are those details? So how many units, what sort of rent-free, what's the price that you're actually going to pay, when you're going to pay that? If you could tell me a little bit about those, because I think there's a really, for me, the terms of this deal what make it a good deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I found actually a flat in Bournemouth, and I saw the potential there, so I just contacted the agent.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm sorry, this is not available for the corporate let, but are you guys covering Weymouth as well? We were like, no.
We said, of course we said, we cover.
I think we said we do.
I love it.
But in our minds, no.
Being open-minded.
Exactly.
All situations.
Exactly.
Very important. You never know what the opportunity comes up. I don't want to interrupt.
So I said, yes, of course, we cover Bournemouth and Birmingham as well.
Good.
And the agent said, yeah, because I have 6 flats, just 5 minutes from the beach in Weymouth, and there is a potential for a corporate let. But it was a really new deal. They didn't know even if they want to rent it out as a corporate let or just the units.
But they know the agent, they know they couldn't have any time to cover this deal. So actually it was a big help for them.
So yeah, we just agreed that we are gonna come to view.
Yeah.
And when we came, it was just
like everybody says, it's huge. But on the face was like, normal.
That's
also very professional.
That's it. Is there anything at the garden?
That's also a crucial point.
Look professional.
And the calmness.
Yeah.
All the time, and make yourself.
Like you've done this before.
I think I've done a couple of times. But the most important, never lie, but make you look like yourself more on an advanced level and more a professional, someone who's done it, rather than say, oh, sorry, I am just in a part of the program and I'm just starting my journey.
No, we
by all means, everybody does whatever they want, but obviously working with other people, that's a huge benefit. But I don't want to cut you now, so guys, just keep going. But it was a great, and also a lot of people were scared. So if I turn, most of the people would turn up and the viewing like this, see this film. Even I was surprised when I jumped out of the car. So a lot of people would say, oh no, it's a huge investment. I just want to start with one. This is also the kind of willingness to take risks, but it's important to calculate risks.
Yes.
Seeing the opportunity, putting things together on the table, which you please cover us this part. What was actually how you overcome on this from the viewing?
The first time we just check everything, and literally the agent couldn't know too much about it. All what we know, the landlord wants £4,000 per month for all the 6 units, and he's willing to give a 6-month rent-free period. Then we said, okay, anyway, we need to check with our builder, so we came again, and then we calculated with you guys, and we gave them an offer, okay, and they wanted for a very long term. They aimed like minimum 5, but they would be more happier with 10 years of lease. So okay, we find out, let's say 8 years lease for rent, the whole building, and 8-month rent-free period. And they very quickly just said, it's alright, but let's do the way like we paying for 1 year £1,333, and if we calculate it back with the 4,000 per month, it's like give us like 8-month rent-free period. So it was give us a peace of mind, and you know, we're gonna have enough time and fun to refurbish all the 6 flats nicely, and even the garden and the front. And after we went through like a check, which was really scared what they gonna check on a new company, but literally we just get back a message like 2 days later, okay Miklosh, you went through everything, is all good.
Excellent. So we got the so negotiated the rent-free period, so that's great. What next?
The next was like really make a bit better calculation how much really the refurb gonna cost. And we get a number, it's like 25-30k, depends. As we getting bought everything, to be honest, just builder's fees rest, I think we're gonna make it like in 30 grand, 30,000. So it should be cover everything, and it depends on the furniture what we're gonna buy. But as we planned, the 2 flat gonna be, which is already done, it's gonna be a little bit nicer, and the middle 2 because those flats hasn't got too much benefits, so we just make it like it's nice, of course, much nicer than our competition around here,
which is important.
But not our standard as we really wanted, but we had to make a line, because later on it depends on the booking. We might gonna let out the normal AST contract for those flats, and the front of the 2 flats gonna be again a nice high modern standard.
So I think that's if I may just jump in here, so that was a conversation we had as we were talking through the deal with you guys, is how do we de-risk this deal, because you know it's big, right? It's 6 deals, there's a bit of investment in here, and one of the conclusions we've drawn at the time was, yes, we wanted to do serviced accommodation because it's in a great location, but what if it doesn't work as a serviced accommodation?
Exactly.
So we did the research of what you could actually get for a flat on an AST. So if you get just normal tenants into maybe 1 or 2 of the flats, or what if the winter months were not as strong as you hope, perhaps. So we did a lot of thinking about it, and I think that, to me, that put my mind at ease for you guys. Is that how you felt as well at the time?
Yeah, it was a nice feeling, because we had lots of backup plan, and if it goes as we calculated in a best case scenario, it's 1 or 1.5 flat gonna cover all the full rent later on, to be honest, if we're doing the service accommodation. So it shouldn't be a problem at all. And if still gonna have, which is very unlikely, we still have a lots of room to move, to still able to make profit on this deal.
Absolutely. And the best thing is that you guys have been working quite hard in getting it ready. And you mentioned that 6 units, obviously you can't do it all at once, but you've done 1. The second one is pretty much ready. So what's happened with the first one? So because that's probably the most promising thing in the whole thing for you guys, right? So
The first big one.
So the first one that you finished, where we are currently sitting.
Yeah.
So you went live, and what happened?
Very quickly we got bookings till mid-September, to be honest. After a couple of days it was like all rest of the summer booked, and till mid-September. And that time we wasn't even totally ready, because we're just using one channel, which is Airbnb, not professional photos. Wasn't any review, of course, because it's a new listing.
Yeah.
So.
And you were still able to let it out
Still,
for
yes.
the remainder of the summer and part of September as well.
Yes.
And do you mind sharing what sort of money we're talking? We're talking just one flat, by the way.
Well,
so
with one flat, this not even a full month, and 3/4 of a month covered. It's like 4K booking.
2,000 pounds.
Absolutely amazing.
Amazing. Out of one flat, which is the smallest out of all, almost.
Yeah, small
Right.
with a garden, so it's
Small with the garden,
Yes.
but yeah.
still it's just a one bedroom for 2 person, or if maximum a kid.
and how did that make you feel? You know, with all this hardware that you were talking about, obviously, the things that. How do you feel after that, seeing that?
It's amazing. It
Yeah.
was actually we were having a coffee in Bournemouth on the beach,
Yeah.
and it was a nice evening. We were chatting a little bit, and we just got 2 bookings.
2 bookings.
And it
it's
was
4K.
like, it's so easy. Finally.
And you are the truck.
Yeah.
When you done the hard work,
Yeah. it
then the
was
money is coming so
coming,
easily
yeah,
compared
yeah,
to the because all our life we used to it. Wake up early, doing 8, 10, 12, 15-hour shifts, and just about our wage gonna arrive sometime, maybe every week, every 2 weeks, or every month, once a month, and we know how much we need to working. No holiday, no unless a couple of days we have every year. We need to ask a boss if we can go somewhere. So we know exactly how much we need to work for, let's say £4,000. Some people 3, 4 months, some people just 1, 2 months. And now you're sitting in a beach and it's in your account, only from one flat. So then you can imagine and you can run your numbers for all the 6. And if I'm not wrong, you didn't even put the price to the level because it wasn't ready where it should be, because we did the research and you should have put it as 2 or over 200 we were talking about, and you will put from next year. So this £4,000 for this one smallest flat for a couple of weeks is not even the amount you can actually achieve if you put the price really where your competition, close by your competition. Most
Yeah,
of them
definitely.
didn't even have a hot tub either, so you have it. So you're gonna need to include the price and increase further the price.
Definitely.
But it's a brilliant start, and I
A
think
brilliant
that's,
start,
It
absolutely
was a
amazing.
part of the plan because we wanted to get the reviews and make it live. So we put the price down a little bit to get some nice reviews.
But yeah, it's still okay. I'm
Instead of
still
you get
really
some
happy.
money in a bank account.
And-
Yes.
Do we mind?
Not really.
it's not the worst feeling in the
Not the
world, is
worst
it?
feeling.
Very good.
It's a really good feeling.
So one flat is up, second one is practically ready to go live, and then tell us about a bit more. So obviously there's another 4 to go.
Yes.
And we will do a bit of walkthrough of these as well.
Sorry.
That's fine. Yeah.
Second one gonna be live for this bank holiday weekend for sure. The third one gonna be ready next week, end of next week, with fully furnished and ready for the listing. The fourth one, 2.5, 3 weeks maximum, also on the listing. And the big one front, the fifth one is gonna be should be ready in mid-September. And then later the last one, I think good scenario end of September or maybe a little bit earlier, because after everyone just gonna jump on that flat
Yes.
who is able to move and
with
living.
hands and
Yes.
legs.
And then finishing. Because also good the last one, because all this we need a big storage for the stuff coming over the delivery. So
Currently we are using the last flat as a storage.
yeah.
You will see in a moment.
And Veronica's idea was, to be honest, to start with this back in the garden, and it became a really good idea, because now we're moving forward and we not make too much noise for the guests. We always wanted to 2 flat above each other is just doing in the same very relatively same time opening to not bother the guest.
Smart move. So I think it's also very smart in terms of staging it, because again, 6 flats, it could be a very big bite to chew off. If you were trying to do all at once, going, I'm going to go live with every single one, you need a bigger team to actually do the work for you, depending on how much work you do. But you guys want to aim at a higher standard, which I really like, by the way, you know, because if you set it up right at the start, trust me, you will attract the right people all throughout this 8 years. And that's exactly what you want to do, right? You know, next summer and the summer after, and even between the summers, you want those quality guests to be coming to your place. You know, just a little bit higher price perhaps than the competition, but you know, trust me, before you know it, you have repeat customers, because you know it's a great spot, and if you do it at the right standard, people will keep coming back. So I think what you're doing is really smart, because now you've got the works going in 2-3 apartments. You know, one of them is not even started basically, but you already got an income coming in from the first one.
That's really helpful for us.
So again, to me that's a, you know, I like to de-risk my deals as much as possible, and that's kind of what we talked about as well. You know, how you can make this less of a scary thing than it actually is, and still see some money coming in. And I'm so pleased that it's actually materializing how we planned it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And as you said, staging the plan. When we talk about before about the business plans and the goals and all the other stuff, how important not just staging your general business plan, but every single things you're doing in your business, planning and staging everything, because obviously you have first step, first stage, second, third, and planning, sitting down, think everything through, and do accordingly. And again, for you, it was I was really pleased as well. It really came from you as a straightforward thing, but most of the people not. So you know, it's so important and so crucial step to having those plans and having those stages in advance. Let's say when you're planning how you're going to go live with 6 units, so you stage it nicely, and even the works on each of the flats, you break it down and stage it, those works as well. It's so crucial because it's going to allow you to get there as soon as possible, the cost effective as much as possible, and also not making a huge mistake, putting everything on the same time in your shoulder, and actually you go nowhere. Because these are very important and crucial things.
It's so easy to get there, but at the beginning we've decided to do this one first, the one with the garden, so we could see the potential that we can make the jacuzzi here and nice sitting area. And really, we got the bookings within a couple of days.
Well, I can see why. I mean, this is a great place to be.
Absolutely.
It's a lovely sunny day today, and we're able to sit here and talk.
Thankfully, we had one free night. we actually could come here, but otherwise it was booked.
Tomorrow the guests coming already. So.
Well, I'm not surprised. You know, I would certainly take this as well, and you know, I think we'll be back.
Even I tried to book with them, but I tried to.
Sorry, it's so.
It's fully booked already.
Maybe next summer, Peter.
Yeah, maybe next summer.
Yeah, okay.
But as I calculated, if we open the second flat, we are gonna be very close, or to not get from our fund, for example, to finishing those flats. Just use the company, the income, revenue. So. It's a really good feeling that we don't need to use any more our funds. But
perfect.
Absolutely amazing.
And this is
you
exactly.
build as you go.
Yes.
Build as you go. Perfect.
This is what they call the compound effect. You know, you compound. You've invested into the first flat. Okay, maybe the first 2.
Yeah.
But the first one is already generating some income. So not only it's paying for itself, but it's paying for the refurb of the second and the third and the fourth. And if you got 2 live, you know, so you could easily pay for the rest of it. So Veronica's smiling, and I like it.
I love it because finally it gives me the feeling that it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Because at the beginning it's easy to lose the motivation, and it's lots of work here, and we working till midnight almost every day because we have full-time jobs. So sometimes it's very tiring, but when you see that you get the bookings and money is coming in again, it's amazing.
And that was one of the reasons why I actually really wanted you guys to do it this way, to start the stages of 1, 2, 3, 4, because the satisfaction you get from completing one, to see it from start to finish, that gives you such a buzz. It's really, really, it's otherwise, you know, if you're doing it all 6 together, this could be a 4-month project. And in the second month of the 4 months, you'd literally be pulling your hair out, going, "Oh my God, is this ever going to finish?" Because it can easily feel like that. But now you've seen one, you go, "Okay, well, great. So start, finish, you know, the project, and then the finish. Okay, let's go again. We're going to do another 6 of those. But the first one is now done, and that's like when you really feel down about the whole refurb, you know, the mess that creates. You can just come back to the one that's done." And look at it, this is what we're aiming for, and that's so important.
Absolutely.
It makes a much more different what the people would think about it. It's like doing one is done, and exactly that point when you just would go down and just, oh no, I don't want to come here anymore. And as you finish, okay, where is the other one?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, I found that it's getting easier to finish the flats. The first one was difficult because it was the first.
Yeah, it's days, it's just days.
But the
with
second
small
one,
parts.
actually, it's quicker as well, and we know what to do, what to buy, and it's getting quicker. So
And now you know the people you're working with as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Again, that takes time, you know. Building up that power
the
team, as
yeah.
a lot of people like to call it. And you may not even work with the same people. And I don't know, obviously, because you've been through a journey, you haven't been part of the day-to-day as much. But sometimes you start with some people and then they sort of drop off, or you're not happy with them and you have to find someone else. I mean, you don't have to go into detail if you don't want to, but I'll be interested to hear if that's kind of your experience as well.
Yeah, we are on the edge to drop off bomb, but we are not that situation we able to do, because I want to finish with them. But we had a funny story, but just for the second flat, when I just came here and 12 o'clock, the worker just was sitting, sleeping in the bed, in the new bed, and says, "What are you doing?" "Oh, sorry, I just had a bad night, so let's start work or something." Yeah, sorry. But to be honest, at that point we were like, no, we need to rid of him. But he became one of the best builders.
Sometimes you just have to give people.
Yes, so we just push down our emotion. Okay, let's make clearly. Is it still okay for us or not? He finishing, and because next day he was here till midnight, so
made up for it.
Since then he's been working hard. But it's a funny story that we found our builder sleeping in the bed at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
I don't even want to sleep there because it's new. I don't want to touch it. He's sleeping there. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's not the only funny story we have of the whole build, and I'm sure it's not even finished yet. So I'm sure you have many stories. So hopefully you are documenting a lot of these and taking pictures and videos, because you know it's really important. Trust me, when you look back in 6 months' time. You know where everything is now versus where you started. Those pictures and videos will be such a great memory. You know, they will be the ones that really go, oh, how far we've come from that start.
Yeah, we have a lot of pictures, and end of this project I'm gonna put together nice before after picture and between the stages. Very so good. It's gonna be nice to look to see. You know,
when
it's all done.
Yeah, cool.
Next one can come.
Yeah.
Next one.
And of course it's just the beginning. But I always forget it's not, then you finish, okay, link the properties, reach the goal, and that's it.
No.
It's just the beginning.
It's only just beginning. It's only just started, guys.
Absolutely.
Much more to come.
So we spoke about, introduce yourselves, which is great. Talk about the deal itself, which is also great. Should we talk about your future plans a bit more? Do you want to talk about that, or?
Yeah, I think about Link Bay Properties as a business.
Yeah.
And also what the goals. Shall I ask? Yeah, guys. So after obviously covered yourselves as individuals, as a couple, nice couple by the way, and obviously your goals and your planning. So could you please walk us through what is Link Bay Properties, and what's the plan with this business?
They are good at selling, so you can sell us now.
Linkbay Properties at the beginning, as we wanted to start the first time, we are focusing on the rent-to-service accommodations. That's our deal, and we want to, not the difference, but we definitely want to work and make a very high standard accommodation to the guests, have no chance to complain, and they've been really satisfied. That's our aim.
Yeah, at the moment. Yeah, because we live in Bournemouth and it's a beautiful place, and every year in the summer it's very busy.
Yeah.
So when I see the thousands of people on the beach, I was like, we need to do that because there are lots of money and lots of potential.
But and also sometimes when I see the advertisement, it's just selling for ridiculous amount of money, and the quality is so not our standard, or how should I say, it just pisses me off. So okay, let's do something different.
It could be so much better.
Yes, I just didn't understand why not doing better this one. So
yeah, because it's holiday and we want people to feel nice and
yeah,
relaxed.
We try to focusing if we would go there, how we would feel ourselves, and if it's good, we just try to aim this part. And after, of course, when we have a couple of service accommodation units, we would like to go over to flipping houses and make a refurbishment and selling to get Linkbay Properties more capital, to able to be more safe and secured. And this is the like a 3 years plan, to be honest, to build enough capital, make happy guests, make our investors happy, the estate agent also, and we tried to outsource ourselves more and more during the way.
Yeah.
And of course we are really happy to work with you guys. It's a very big pleasure to have a chance to work with you, and we also wanted to be like a deal sourcer to selling deals, because definitely we became good of it, and we just couldn't handle all the deals, so we need to, at some point we need to sell the deals. So this is the deal sourcing, first focusing the rent to service accommodation, make as much as possible, but if you say number wise, I would say I would be happy in 2 years, like a minimum 20 service accommodation, minimum 20 unit, and during these 2 years doing deal sourcing also, like 2-3 deals per month, as I able to count now. And I think end of the second year we can start the flipping houses when we have enough capital and being more bigger company and more secured and more door open for Linkbay Properties.
Love it. Love it. Fantastic.
Absolute.
You know what? I think the only thing you need to do with this one, if I might say, is that I think you might need to adjust your plans from the 20 serviced accommodations, because you're almost halfway there and you barely finished your first year.
And we haven't even started our stage 2, which is just coming now. So it's not going to be 20 at the end of the 2 years plan. I can.
But I do like it, because it is, you know, for someone who fairly new to property. I know you have a bit of background in Hungary, but obviously the UK market, as you said, is different. So, and you are doing completely different thing now, because you're doing flips, now you're doing serviced accommodation. So for that to have that ambition to go 20 units in a space of 2 years, I love it, because that just shows you have the courage, you have the ambition, and
also
you're not afraid to do the work either.
The numbers, using the numbers.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter if it's going to be a correct number, it's going to be a couple of less or much more. But at least you have something in your mind, some target, and go, not just, I want a few or some.
Yes.
No, I want 20 as a minimum.
Yeah.
That's how we have our goals and aims, and that's how we build our business plans. In 2 years, I want minimum 20. Anything less will be disappointment, and anything above, just an extra, just a bonus.
Yeah, and definitely the other focus, we need to build up our team and definitely we need to hire more people to work for VIGH properties, because this 20, what my mind at this moment today able to imagine, okay, I can cover without anybody with Veronica, I can cover nicely to be everyone happy, but above that at this moment my brain is just not achieving, and definitely because for that need hire people, employ for VIGH properties.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of step that it's great that you're already thinking about that. See, and that's where it all starts. You know, you go, okay, well, I'm not there yet, but if I want to get there, I need to do this. So again, it's another, you know, so I really like what I'm hearing. I'm not sure about you, Peter, but I'm sure you do as well.
Amazing,
it's, you know, that's the sort of entrepreneurial thinking that you need to actually go, yes, these are my goals, but there's no way I'm going to get there on my own. And I think that's sometimes people never reach it because they think I can do everything by myself and get to a goal. And unfortunately, you can't. Fortunately or unfortunately, it depends on which way you look at it. So you need to go through that growing phase and realization of, okay, I can only get so far. You can probably do this, the 6 units on your own, and then afterwards you probably have to think about how am I going to leverage the time and resources better so that I can grow.
Absolutely. Obviously, we cover this during our program, and we're going to cover it later as well. So obviously, growing a business, it's a number of different factors, but one of the most important things we already covered a lot of times is the planning and having the stages and the clear goals, but also the outsourcing part and getting ready for that part, and also leveraging your time and other people's time. How we use our own time, because time is precious for everybody, for ourselves as well. So obviously, these are and a couple of other secret growing business, and these are one of the most important ones. Using our time and using other people's time and planning everything in advance and starting outsourcing things and all the other stuff. Obviously everything comes with difficulties. Working with other people is important and crucial. Building up a big business even with us would be impossible without people like working like yourselves and other people working, and also without our team. It would be impossible to do managing properties, helping people, and all the other stuff. It would be impossible, and also for you guys as well, doing deal sourcing, finding the deals, and managing guests, and doing flipping properties. You know, these things would be impossible without working with others. However, when it comes to working with people, you always need to choose the right people. As you learned, and as you mentioned already, a couple of bad experience with the sleeping builder in a bed, and also some of them is not turning up, or just 2-3 days from a fire, and all the other stuff. This is absolutely normal, because that's
part of the journey.
That's part of a journey. Yeah. You know, regardless what business you are, not just property. In any business, in any case, in any given market, always dealing with people is the hardest part. Easy to say to outsource and working with others, because without this, as I said, there is no growing. It's impossible. But working with other people and finding those people, that's again the hardest part. That's very hard part. But you're gonna get there, and we're gonna help you to get there, to grow that business to the size, and you're actually starting hire your own employees and getting different income revenues as well is so important, because rely on only one, whether it's service accommodation, whether it's anything in this world, is almost the biggest risk. If you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 income streams coming in the same time, that's much more secure than just relying on one.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. We are working on it.
I can see.
Make more likes.
Absolutely. We are a good path, so a good way, and we're gonna help you get there. Don't worry.
Right, guys. So obviously we've been working together for a while. So you have been part of our Build Your Business Together program, which is something that Peter and myself have put together to help people like you. And you know, so far it's been an absolute pleasure working with you. So we just wanted to ask you about the program itself, what you think of it. So, you know, hopefully some other people as well who think that this is a program they want to be part of. So just tell us what you thought of it. You know, how we helped you, and perhaps what were the best things about it for you guys. So over to you.
So to be honest, I've been on many courses, but also mentoring, but this was the first what course said, okay, I'm gonna lead you step by step, and this course really did actually. So all the steps what we needed during the way, like a very interactive way how we were together during the COVID lockdown also, so wasn't any problem. We always got our question answered in the time, so we felt ourselves in a really safe hands, and if we didn't know something or just not sure, we had someone who can trust and ask them, and we always got the answer. Even if sometimes it was, I don't want to do it that, and 1 month later they told us. No, I shouldn't do, but actually yes. Because you're talking by experience, but actually you're giving a lot, not just these fancy words to lead you through step by step. It's literally happened. So that's why where we are now. We have a nice deal with 6 flats, and we already have income from this business. And I spent £1,000 for courses, and I never achieved this result, and that's a fact. That's for you guys. I'm just so happy finally someone said something, and that's happened.
Thank you, because one of the things I'm really glad you mentioned the difference between the course and the program like this. But I also that's going to be my next question. But I also really glad you highlighted the step-by-step process, and we walk you through, because if there was something we would really focus on with ISTVAN, that's actually making so easy to people to follow the plan and actually somehow force them, make them to do those plans as a step by step and as a stage by stage, and obviously we're helping them all the way through. So we're not starting running, we're just starting to walking at the beginning, and we're planning everything in advance. So by mid-time of this program you should be able to in a position, even before mid-time, it depends on where you've been, and it depends on how much time you have, you should be able to have your first deal. If you're really following our program and our plan, and the plan we created together. So that's exactly, I'm really glad you mentioned this, because that was so hard we focus on this part, because obviously we had our own research as well about the market and other people who are offering very similar things, and we actually created or listed the problems, the survey we did, and we listed the problems, let's say complaints or the things didn't go the way it should with ISTVAN, and we try to find a solution for this, and that's how we created this. So thank you very much for the kind words, because this was absolutely crucial for us. And we didn't ask you to say this.
No, you're just paying us. No, that's the truth.
No, honestly, this is absolutely crucial for us to. You mentioned this, and if I can ask one question, so what do you think the difference between our program? So you joined our program, and what would be the difference if you didn't? And if you go along on your own and on your way without our program, because obviously you already had a couple of courses. When you joined the Odyssey, you have some knowledge, you had some book, you read some book, and you did a course, because most of the argument always whether a property education is actually necessary or I can do everything alone. That's the biggest argument always, regardless is a mastermind or mentorship or whatever you can call it. So these are always the biggest arguments. So what do you think you would have achieved on your own if you did not join our program?
I think there is 2 options. It's like one, the same like happened many times. You got a high buzz at the course, and after you feel motivation. But even if there's some follow-up, even a month or something, between that you don't have anything. Nobody follow you what you're gonna do or what you're not doing, and the 3 months, nothing really happened, and just another 2-3 grand is just out of the window, and nothing really happened. A little bit more knowledge in your head, but that's it. And that's why I liked it. Even everybody say, you know, it's a privilege to get in this mentorship program or any mentorship program, but here we had to kind of qualify, and you not sell this like, okay guys, it's gonna be so lovely, 5 weeks later you're gonna earn 10,000 per month. It's just you did the other ways. For example, you said what's gonna able to achieve, but for that you need to put this amount of work, and it's easy but hard. And that's what I like it, and that's how it's work. It's not just a big boost and after no follow-up nothing happened. And so the first option for your question, it's like 3 months later nothing happened, or enough stubborn and do something, and I do something really wrong from example legal or by the contracts or something like during the way it's getting in the wrong direction, because
that's the weakness.
Yeah, but yes, the biggest or the best thing is like, okay, now the point when I need to ask, and I know kindly what I should do, but I need someone who just say, okay, this is the right way, use this clause for the contract, because the solicitor being checked, we use this terms and conditions and stuff like this. Just a little push, not need too much, but just gives you confidence to make another step, and together everything getting work.
Yeah, because we felt safe from the beginning with you guys, because you were straight with us, you didn't say any fairy tales to us, but at the same time you keeping an eye on us, and you wouldn't let us down anyway. So we felt really safe since the beginning.
That's really good to hear. I think there were a couple of examples I think that I can think of where we certainly helped you, sort of saved you from a bit of trouble, I think is fair to say.
Yes.
So can you tell us about a couple of examples? I mean, I can think of one example definitely.
The first one I think was we want to sign a contract of which basically all the benefits was for the landlords, and for us nothing was protected because we missed the break clause. So
and we put the break clause for the landlord as well.
Yes.
And luckily we had you guys, so you pointed out, and we just can't.
I remember I literally had to chase you guys to change it, and even after you didn't want it. You didn't want it because we already sent it to the landlord. But I said, if you're gonna put this amount of money and the landlord change after 6 months, change their mind, you're gonna have no protection. You lost everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I literally had to tell. If I remember that example, to please guys, send it. Don't care what the agent or what the landlord is gonna say. We don't care even if you lose that deal, but you have to send. But obviously there is a proper way how to explain the mistake you made on your offer, original offer, and you did very well. You follow our guidance. So actually you corrected that clause in the right way, and you see the landlord didn't run away just because you made the mistakes, and you explained why you didn't make the mistakes, and also you explained why you want to put that clause and why you don't want to give that clause to him, which makes sense.
Exactly.
So there could have been a costly mistake, I think it's fair to say, but thankfully I think with our persistence and guidance, I think we corrected that. So there was certainly a bit of a hairy moment there, I think.
It was for everyone.
Yeah.
But for us, this is that gives us pleasure to be able to go. Please do not do that, because that's exactly what could, it could bankrupt you before you even start the whole journey. And I think, we wouldn't be doing our job, Peter and myself, our job properly if we didn't step in and save you from that. So
now could easily happen. Now we put it the 30 grand in, and end of 6 months the landlord said, okay, thanks to refurbish, you can go now. Wherever you want.
They could have said
They could have easily.
They could have easily said
The thing is, contractually now you are better protected. Now you can feel more comfortable about investing into someone else's property. I think that would have been a very rude awakening if the landlord turned around after 6 months. Come and visit the property, you show them what you've done. Oh, thank you, so here's your break clause. See you later. And believe it or not, landlords have done it before. So there is a reason why we do this, and a reason why we want to make sure. So, the contract that you've sent over, we read through it before we went, just to make sure everything is exactly where it should be, how it should be. So,
and even better, it was our contract.
Yeah, well, of course.
And obviously it's including our clauses, but more important, not just the clause is very important, obviously. The term is very important as well, the terms, but also the type of the contract as well, because you use the very, very good for this type of business, very strict management contract, which is much beneficial to you compared to the company-led tenancy between you yourself and the landlord. So this type of contract is more suitable and more protecting you. So it's give you unbelievable protection for your investment compared to the normal company-led tenancy. Company-led tenancy works very well as well if you use the right clauses. Should be fine, but the management contract is even better. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
And not every not every agent. The agent see this type of contracts, and most of the time, no, we don't sign this. We sign ours. Okay, Mr. Agent. Okay, but we put our clauses in there. Yeah, and sometimes they say no, then we let the deal go. And sometimes they say okay, so it's still okay. But if they let our management contract play in part with all our clauses, it's a nicely tied deal.
And that's why it's very important at the beginning, like you guys you with us, because the beginning you are the most keen to get the deal and you could do anything. And after, if you get the situation, you're not losing just that deal, you lose all of your motivation to do something in property, and then gonna affect all of your life because you just lost your brave or your motivation to do it again, because the first time you get hurt too much.
That's right. You get burned for life. I think is how they say it in English. But it's very easy to happen, and I've certainly seen it happen before as well. That eagerness, which is very, very important for you to get the deal in the first place. But then if that eagerness flips over to being a little bit careless with how you do things, and that's easy to do again because you go, oh, I really want that deal because I've been to 2 or 3 courses or been to a mastermind, spend a few thousand before you know it, and then I'm invested in this agent as well because I've been building this relationship and I don't want to lose that. So that eagerness can really go, oh, okay, well, I'll just let go on this one clause in the contract, but unfortunately that one clause is really what's actually saving your butt when things do really turn to bad. So yeah,
absolutely. We with ISTVAN we lost number of deals due to the contracts and the clauses. Still sometimes we lose deals, which is actually affecting our cash flow as well, because we're selling deals on a weekly basis to investors. Actually, we're not just selling deals. People calling it selling deals. We're actually working with them and building a business together with them as well. But the main thing is, we rather not get that money if I know, or ISTVAN knows, or mentees, people we're working with, or investors we're working with, they're not protected enough. So I rather lose, and I say there are some lines we always draw. We can negotiate on rent, we can negotiate a couple of things, but there are clauses has to be included in our contract for the protection, because even if the worst happens, we can get away after 6 months. But as long as you pay the rent, or we pay the rent, then you can't get hurt. Because if the landlord want to get away from the contract, then you name your price. Otherwise,
it's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. And or in some cases we also come across with people, they did not have break clause at all for themselves, which is again, the landlord had a break clause, but they not for them, because it was for landlord and they didn't spot. Which means the landlord can get away, they put the money in, but they haven't got a break clause. So if things goes wrong, the landlord can say, okay, you have 5 years contract, 3 years contract, so I let you go and you pay all the 3 years rent upfront, or the 2 years or whatever it left over from the point you wanna cancel your contract. So these are so important things, and these can make you break your deal, and you're never gonna go back, not just in property, in business at all, because of this bad experience.
That's the biggest loss.
And an argument going on social media, on Facebook groups or whatever, about people say, oh, you don't need to course, just read some book, just get some course, you can learn and see everything, you can learn everything. That's kind of true, because almost everything available on social media, on online, almost you can get access to almost everything, how things works, what to look at, legislations, all the other stuff. But there are a lot of things which only comes from experience, and especially at the beginning it's so important. After 2-3 years you will know yourself, but you might still need some help because you want to go from 50 to 200, and that's again a different game. So as we're growing, we always need to learn something new in order to grow our business, and that's so crucial. And the argument is all the time, myself I see a lot of times, we had discussion with each one as well about this, a lot of time people, this is what they don't understand. It's not about the knowledge, it's not about the knowledge, it's about the experience and the real life, and it's about the help you get when you need, and then you need, not 2 weeks later,
Exactly.
when you need it.
That was really important in this
Yeah,
year
it
also.
was.
The band.
For our
Because-
business, because otherwise.
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, the thing is, let's just speak about this particular case. The clause in the contract. You knew very well that you needed to think about this, but the problem normally, and I think that's another thing that often people overlook when they kick things off in terms of the property investing journeys. Once you're in that motion of trying to get the deal across the line, you miss things, and it's not because you want to miss things. But it's because you're so caught up in the moment of, oh, I need to make sure this is right, that is right, that is right. And unfortunately, there's quite a few things that need to be right. And sometimes, you don't have the perfect checklist. They go, okay, tick, 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 tick. And life just gets in the way. And the agent throws a curveball at you by asking something different. So that's when we sort of come in with the experience going, okay, well, I know that you probably thought of everything, but let's just go through again. And with the, we've seen, I don't even know how many deals, how many contracts. So, we look through it and go, okay, well, that's missing, or that's missing. That's not quite right. So that's where I see the value in what we provide. That extra pair of eyes, that extra bit of hand holding that sometimes is needed. Because, like Peter said, you can go on YouTube and you can almost learn anything from YouTube. If you really, really want to, let's face it, you can.
Yeah, but it's
not the same.
It's not the same
They
at all.
always
and
left out the important. They're talking about a lot of things, a lot of useful things.
Yeah.
But they always just give as much as they want to give. The important, really the bits and the details is missing. They're never gonna share with you. Nobody gonna share. Even in the books, they're not gonna share with you because they want something. They want to go and join to them or join to their course or webinar or whatever. So nobody gonna give you, and they wouldn't even possible because life, so much situation happens in life and in business, and it's almost impossible to cover it in a course or within a book or whatever, or YouTube. It's almost impossible. You can cover very, very useful things for free, but it's almost impossible to cover everything. And I'm really glad you mentioned also not just what we said actually we done and delivered, but I'm also really glad we was really picky when we actually had the people, and we told you, and we're not telling this to people because we just wanna look like picky, but really sometimes we have to refuse people. So not everybody, this program is not for everybody, because if we have some people who are not performing like you, then it's gonna be affect our success rate as well. And it's not just our success rate, the people as well. So we're taking money, let's say from someone, and we know exactly they're never gonna achieve what they want, because as soon as we mentioned, but you need to do the hard work as well, or you need to follow our instructions, and all bear in mind and be mindful about this and that. I don't need to say this. We just can take everybody's money because they wanna come. And there is no problem, whether something happens with you or it's going to be success or not, we don't mind. But that's exactly what we're trying to do differently, picking people who are suitable to this program and also going to achieve success, because it's our success as well.
Definitely, it's a big difference compared to the other companies and other programs.
Thank you guys, definitely.
Thank you.
For the kind words.
Absolutely. So what would you say to others who want to join us? Is there anything that you want to tell them about this?
If you want to join, just join. If you really think seriously, you want to start your property business this year, this month, not just wondering about it, then go for this program with ISTVAN and Peter, definitely.
Because the beginning is hard enough, and it's so nice to have someone who is always behind you and watching your steps.
And anyway, all the business you're working with people in any aspect of their life, why the learning curve we wouldn't work together with some of them who already had an experience. And I was stubborn also, and we were stubborn, and we thought we don't need, and no, we're gonna do this differently. But then I feel how stupid I am. I'm not saying the mentor what I'm planning to do, because I know he's gonna say not to do that, but I try to avoid. And then 1 month later, yeah, he was right.
So that's the whole idea, you know. But I'm glad that, you know, it's proving to you're proving it to yourself, the value of a program like this, and I think that's important. Often there's question marks around it, and I know that there's, you know, not just in our program, and many other I've come across lots of people I've used to mentor elsewhere before, and people who do the work, people who listen to the instructions, they always do well. And you know, so for us, you know, you were a dream to work with, and you are still a dream to work with, because you do listen, and you make those steps. So you ask the question, we give you the answer, and then you actually do them. So it makes our job a lot easier. Trust me, it does. But to me, it shows the importance of it. You know, if you ask for something and then you get an answer, don't just ignore it, discard it, because you don't. It's not necessarily what you wanted to hear. You know what I mean? Because sometimes that could be the case.
Yeah, it's happy. It could be easily.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You need a bit of stubbornness. I like it that you say that, because you do. Because that's not this. I like to call it somewhat different. I like to call it resilience. You know, stubbornness is one thing, but I think you're probably more resilient. You know, because you know, you get knocked down, you get up, and you keep going, because that's just how it works. But with resilience, you're still able to take in what others tell you and give you, and take the advice and move with that. Trust me, there are people out there who take it and then throw it away, and they go, "Oh no, you tell me go right, I'll go left." And that's when unfortunately, left isn't always the best way. You know, people tell you to go right because that is the way to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So
because we've been there, so we know exactly. But you know, if you have money to waste, then obviously,
by all means do what you want.
By all means. But absolutely, I couldn't agree with this more. So it's so crucial to following, but also let. If you already joined to the program, then obviously take the advice if you can, because obviously, you know, when you obviously checked on us when you joined the program, you know exactly the type of business you want to build, because it's also important. If you want to join to the program, please try to join to the program, which is very, very offering the kind of service you're looking for. We could have offered HMO business builder program as well, because ISTVAN has a huge knowledge in HMO, but we focus always our program. We focus on the deal packaging and the service accommodation side, especially how we build up this huge service accommodation business using the deal packaging strategy, which is one of the greatest high cash flow strategy. And obviously, if you had something else in mind, you should have go to some, not because we haven't got the knowledge on other part of, we do BRR project and all the other stuff, but this is our main expertise, and we've been there just like you, just like others in 3 years ago. So we've been through that road, so why we wouldn't share with others, and why you wouldn't follow if you already joined? It wouldn't make any sense to join us and then don't take the advice eventually.
And I think the people also need to decide they are really want to do this now, they are really ready for it. Because it's just been in the arse for both sides. If it's, I'm paying, but actually I know for the next 6 months I won't have any time for it or something like this. You just need to really prepare. It's a business, so need to take serious.
I remember our first conversation when you booked the call with us, and I remember on that part, and we had a discussion with ISTVAN just after, from experience, marketing and sales experience, and working with people in general experience. when we actually give you the offer, because as you said and mentioned rightly, we are picky, we don't give the offer to anybody. But when we actually give the offer to you, obviously we see you have some knowledge already, so you are ready for this program, and we also see already the enthusiasm and the willingness to actually, if we give you something, you're gonna follow. We already had this feeling with ISTVAN. But you made the decision when we actually gave you the offer. You made the decision very, very quickly, and from all experience, people who make quick decisions means two things. They are confident, they know what they want, and secondly, when you hear an offer, regardless in which market or what the offer about, but you already know this is something suited to you in terms of your budget, in terms of your goals, and in terms of what you want to achieve. So you already came to that meeting, you knew exactly what you want, you knew exactly what you're expecting from us, and we knew from the first minute you are the ones who are going to achieve. Obviously, I didn't expect this, but I knew you were going to be successful, and then the two things falling in the same place. Making quick decisions, but when you actually go to someone and asking for something, for some service, regardless what is about, then obviously you need to know, and you need to know what you want, and you need to understand what you can take in order to get there, what you're willing to sacrifice in order to get there. And most of the people, believe me, they're just asking questions, they're not sure, or I don't know, I can make this, I don't know, I can do this. With this attitude, and I'm not intending to hurt anybody's feeling or anything like that, but the attitude is very important, and the attitude, the willingness, and the desire, it's very, very important, and also understanding your personal and financial circumstances as well. So it's very important. You need to understand what you can do and what you can't. It's very important.
Because this business is gonna take effect or part of life.
Absolutely.
And if you're doing well, it's make a really nice effect, in a good way, life changing. Free quality time.
So I think we came close to the final this today interview with guys, which I really enjoyed. The only last bit left, I think, which is most exciting. We can cut it off. So this is the most exciting part of the whole, because apart from being picky at the beginning when you're actually selecting people to this program, it's even rarer when someone we actually offering this what we offer to you guys. We call is phase 2, stage 2, whatever we can name it. When you actually proved you are the ones who can achieve success, even alone yourself. And then actually this is a offer we made to you guys, which is including to everybody who actually joining this program, but not so many people, and not everybody can actually achieve what you did. So the offer actually working together and really building your business together, and now building our business together. This is phase 2, and you was chosen to actually get this, we can call it JV, joint venture, partnership, business builder. This is the whole aim of this business builder program: build your business together and build our business together, to actually join forces and actually working with people who trust. Thank you for what you mentioned. We are the ones you trusted. We can say the same. Going into business with someone who you are not sure about, it's not just in property, in any business. That wouldn't make sense in anybody. So people often talk about a joint venture, JV partnership on social media, even companies, education companies as well. A lot of time offering for everybody. But it's a huge mistake and a huge misleading claim, because you can't offer joint venture partnership to everybody. You cannot co-source with anybody, you cannot do service accommodation with anybody, because how you can trust that person going to do the part of job and responsibilities belongs to them. Let's say we want to build a successful deal packaging company on this area with you together, and also the building or service accommodation business. How I know you're not gonna let's say, screw up the deals, or you're not gonna, oh, I don't know, I don't bother now today to looking after the guests. Let's keep it tomorrow, or maybe 2 days, which would gonna be an overall effect on your business and on our business as well. And not to mention financials and all the other and all the rest. So going into partnership with someone and offering this, obviously it has to be deserved. And I'm really glad and I'm really pleased to actually announce this is officially. So it's been given to you, this opportunity, and you said yes, which we're really happy, obviously.
It's a
And
pleasure.
so the phase 2, stage 2 is just going to start when we actually join forces together and actually we're starting this packaging and also building this huge service accommodation business together.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. It's a big
Our pleasure.
pleasure.
It sounds
And
great.
we are so exciting about it, and we can't wait to start.
Quick decision again.
It was quick again.
It was a quick yes, thank you.
Absolutely,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I was very surprised actually. I thought, maybe they would take it away, have a think about it, but no, there was no thing.
You can't decline this offer.
Yeah, but no, that's brilliant. And I think that one thing I want to add to what you said, Peter, as well is we do get offered, as you probably imagine, a lot of people actually come to us and want to JV with us, want to do this and that, but we do say no a lot, and for this reason that Peter just explained, we don't want to marry just anyone. And I think it's kind of a way of a marriage, it's a form of a marriage when you actually do a joint venture, if you want to sort of label it some way. So I think for us, having that trust, having that relationship built up, and seeing the possibility, of course, in you guys and how the two could work together, I think that's really important for us as well. But we're really pleased that you also think the same way. So.
Yes, we do.
Let's
Can't
go
wait.
forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I think what we need now is we need a bottle of champagne and a couple of glasses. So
That'd be nice.
we're about to head over to a restaurant, so we may be able to do that there. Thank you guys. We just want to really thank you for taking the time out. I know you're very busy with your project, which obviously is taking center stage right now, but so pleased that we could actually do this. Everyone make the time and have an absolutely glorious day for us. I'm sitting here baking under the sun, but it's worth it. So thank you very much. Really appreciate the time that you've given us. And congratulations! I think this is just the start of things. So, I'm so
Thank you
pleased
so
for you.
much, guys.
Congratulations, you became a really good mentor.
Yeah.
Without
also
you, it's not
pleasure.
happening.
Yeah,
and
no,
we are
not
pleased
at
you
all.
are here.
Thank you so much.
It was
for
a big
that.
drive, so
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we appreciate it
that's
a
the
lot,
least we
guys.
can do.
Thank you.
No,
Excellent. Thank you guys. Thanks
thanks
again.
very much.
Cheers.